This is just a small story because I was thinking about something a bit earlier about pilots disappearing, and this was I can't remember his name. It was a 20-year-old pilot flying from Melbourne to King Island in Australia. Again, I've never been, so I don't know where it is. And he was 45 minutes into the flight. Again, it's a true story, and as far as I know, you can even go on somewhere on YouTube, and the recordings what he did from the plane is on here somewhere. I'm sure I may even listen to it myself. I got some years ago, but it's a lot of information and it's still about. I can't remember his name, but if you ever look and just put pilot disappears in Australia, it'll probably come up. So they were 20-year-old, and it was good, clear sky, no trouble whatsoever. And he was flying a short distance. He was 45 minutes into his flight, nothing wrong with his airplane whatsoever. And then he had something flying above him. He said about 1,000 feet above him. The radar were tracking him. Everything was on radar. It was all recorded on the radar, and that also picked up an object which doesn't normally pick up a UFO object, as far as I know, but it picked up this one. And then he saw it, and he says it's not an aircraft. It says it's cylindrical and shiny. He says it's not an aircraft. He said it a few times, and then as he tried to keep calm, but as he was describing what it is, then suddenly his aircraft radio started to crackle, and he repeated himself a few times. The radar picked him, still followed him through, and then he says it's not an aircraft. It's not an aircraft. He says, I don't know what it is, it's not an aircraft. He describes it being cylindrical shape a few times, silver, and then suddenly he loses communications with the ground control, and they were still trying to communicate with him, and it all went crackly. They still tried to communicate with him, even when the plane disappeared. I mean, just went off the radar. So that's unfortunate for the young lad, who was 20-year-old. Not a very nice story for him and his parents, but it's a true story. Where did he go? You know, planes and pilots don't just disappear from radar, and especially moments before he said he saw an alien craft. You know, it's just no. People don't disappear, do we? No, we don't. We just don't. Like I say it's only a small story, but again, it's absolutely true. It's still, the recordings are still out there. You can still listen to recordings, and they've never found anything to do with the plane or himself. So I won't say it's a good story because it's not very nice for him or his parents, but it's just to show there's something out there, 100%, and that's why I thought I'd mention it. It is popular. You've probably heard it already. But anyway, it's true. I can't remember this guy's name. Friedrich. I wish I remember his name. I can't. But it's easy to find. From Melbourne, flying from Melbourne to Kings Island, where pilot disappears. And it'll come up, I'm sure it will. Anyway, God bless. It's only a small story. If you get a chance to, I don't know what you call it, to subscribe, brilliant. Thank you. God bless.